I think you're dying or decaying, not physically, but creatively. And the worst part might be that you don't even realize it yet. I didn't. So, for as long as I can remember, I created, as any kid did. I'd draw, I'd paint, I'd make Harry Potter props, I'd dance, I'd do theatre, I'd learn the piano, the guitar, I'd even, shoot short films on an old Sony camcorder with my little brother that we would then post on YouTube. So, I create constantly. But then I realized the further I grew older, the less I made creation a priority. And the less I made it a priority, well, the less I created. And what happened is that at 21, I wake up and I realized I haven't touched a paintbrush in over 3 years. And I probably haven't learned a new song on the piano in over 4. And that realization alone left me feeling empty. Now, not in a morbid, depressive way, rather in a see it as a gaping hole in my mind, consuming me bit by bit. And the further I didn't create, the more I decayed. And the more I decayed, the less I felt human. See, kids, they create with no effort. It just comes out, right? It's not, they don't wake up one day and say, great, today I'll create. No. And that perfectly illustrates how creation is in our nature, right? And go as far as saying that creation is our duty. I'm not going to make this about Christianity. I'm still new to this. But if we want to make the link to religion, God is the creator. He's our creator. And if we're made in God's image, then by extension, we should be creators ourselves. So creation is output, or rather intentional output, and consumption is input. Now, the mechanism behind that is we're not storage units, right? We're processing systems. And we're made to consume and we're made to produce and to create. That's what we are designed by nature, right? Our 5 senses are consumption. So energy comes through consumption. And there's nothing wrong with consumption. It's at what level you consume and how much in return you create from that consumption, okay? And the issue is that consumption has to go somewhere. If it has no outlet, it's not going to sit still, it's going to corrupt. And I think over time, it will find ways to come out in very unhealthy and emotional ways, which I don't wish upon you at all, or anyone, honestly. And again, that's not a character flaw, that's just an architectural problem. Now, if you think my definition of creation is still a bit, too vague, because you might say, well, my thoughts are creation. Alas, here's my internal gas. Well, here's another one for you, right? Meaningful creation is the intentional and necessary output that costs you something and leaves something behind, right? So that rules out your fart, because 99% of the time you don't mean to, and it's a natural byproduct of you just living, the same way as a step in a foot, what do you call it, foot trace, whatever you leave in the snow when you walk. That's a natural byproduct of you living, the same way when you expel your gas through your mouth, CO2, that's just a byproduct of your existence. But making something of the input is what makes it powerful and palpable. Now here's the issue. We as a society have made consumption not only normal, which it is, but the basis of of being human. They somehow sold you the idea that being human is consumption. Eat this, or watch this, or do that. You're just consuming information constantly, right? And especially today, and especially myself, and I think most guys my age and gals, we're just consuming non-stop, okay? And we're getting used to it too much. And I've realized that what most of us feel through this intense consumption is actually a lack of creation. Is that we're just consuming and inputting so much data, even our brain. If you even go into the science of this, your brain isn't supposed to get this much information in such a short, time frame, especially emotionally. Like Reels and YouTube Shorts and TikTok. This is all like an emotional roller coaster, and you shouldn't be feeling that many emotions and receive that much information in such a short period of time. And that consumption of information, data, even food, is going to lead to something very bad down the line. And this sense of feeling uncomfortable the further you consume is, I believe, the lack of creation and the lack of output and the lack of outlets to output this in a meaningful way. I guess what I'm trying to say is just create, whatever that means to you, whatever fits in my definition, right? And you might have a very different definition to mine. And again, I'm not preaching anything as the absolute truth. This is my own thought process and what I've realized after years. And I guess I haven't really included a ranking system of saying, is my creation better than yours, or is this creation of mine better than this creation? Is a Picasso better than my little sister's drawing? I don't think that's up to me to judge, or anyone, honestly. It's very subjective, it's very personal, and there's so many metrics that take place. Time, quality, impact, intent, that are not quantifiable on a large scale, or even a small scale. So what I'm saying is that just stop consuming. That's wrong. Sorry. Continue consuming. What I'm saying is that calculate your consumption wisely, because your brain only has a certain amount of processing power per day. And if you spend that processing power on garbage or on reels you forgot 5 seconds afterwards, that's just not a good use, not only of your processing power, but of your time and of your consumption units. I guess we could see it as we have a certain amount of consumption units per day of how much you can input until it becomes either unhealthy or unnecessary, honestly, or just a waste of space. And to balance that out, I guess you can see this in ratios, is just create, whatever that means for you. If it's creating a song or painting something or having this conversation with someone or creating this moment or, something, just make something happen. Put something into the world, whatever that is, well, however big, however small, okay? What I can say for myself is that I've had this urge to create forever, and I've sort of tucked it away for the past few years, especially since I'm an adult. And even, content creation is a form of creation in itself. Now, don't mistake me for saying, oh, go shoot a video and go on YouTube. That's not what I'm saying. Unless that's what you want to do, and I'd say, go for it, mate. What I'm saying is that I have this need not only to create, but document what I'm going through. And I've learned a few things along the way that I'd like to share, my own perspectives. And if that can help someone, then that's great. So I'll just leave you with this today. Just create something. And if you're not a creative person per se, and you don't maybe have this big of a call as other people, what I'd say is at least try to match how much you consume, right? Try and make it a net zero. So if you consume X, try and match that, okay? And see how that feels, right? And then again, if you're fine consuming all the time and you see absolutely no problem in the world, then go for it. But from personal experience, I just urge you to create something.